Alright, I'm going to try to video calibration again. First thing I did was I have a tool set in here. This is a touch-off gauge for another part of the calibration. I know its diameter, and I set the height gauge onto the top of it and then deducted half the distance, so I came up with dead center. Right now I have tool 1 lined up, and I zeroed the frame and rotated the head so that the first tool actually starts out low. You can see it when it comes to tool position 1, it's below the height of the gauge. So I'll bring the gauge over to the top of the tool, and what I do is I try to get the cutter. I know this is going to be a jumpy video, but I try to get the cutter lined up so the edge is going to just come up and touch the gauge. Then I hook a ground and my calibration wires to the actual gauge so that when it rotates and touches, it'll stop. To put it into calibration, I need to push the button that puts it in calibration mode, and when I push this button, it'll rotate and touch. You can see it rotated and touched. Then I turn off calibration, and tool 1 is now set to that position. So then I loosen, take off my clamp, move my gauge out of the way, come up for the next tool. So to get to the next tool, which will be 3, I'm going to tell it to go to tool 2. It wants me to press cycle start. I'll press cycle start. The turret rotated to tool position 2 now. So now I'll rehook up my ground to tool 3. You got to stop the tool before the one you want to calibrate. I'll put it back in calibration mode. Start rotating till I get somewhere close. I'll stop. Move my gauge over to where the gauge is going to touch just the cutting edge of the tool. It's a little hard to see, and I'm probably jumpy. Right about there. Now I hold the button, and it's calibrated tool position 2. Now when I shut it off, it saved that position. That's tool position 3. So now all I have to do is take off the leads. I can remove the wire. I don't need it anymore. Back my gauge out of the way. Come up to tool 1. Hit enter. Turn to tool 1. Tool's going to rotate all the way around. Turret's going to rotate all the way around. And now I can recheck my position, and if you see, it's exactly on the gauge, right dead zero. Alright, now I go to tool 3. I'm sorry, I know this is jumpy. Hit cycle start. It'll rotate to tool 3. Bring my gauge over, and you can see it's exactly zero. So now that's calibrated. There's another calibration that I'll try to video, which is the difference in length between these two tools. This is the master tool, tool 1. Tool 3 has to know the difference between its point and this point in comparison to this gauge, and I'll try to film that next. Hopefully I can edit these together, or just do them in multiple videos. But that's it for calibrating the turret. Now if I had multiple tools, there's tools that go on the sides, there's tools that can go on here everywhere. I haven't made these tool mounts yet, but this is just my first test on the actual machine. So that's it for this video.